The schematics and loadouts on this channel are overpowered, and it is also dedicated to doing RPGs, along with other games. Red Willow is one of the most overpowered Outlanders in Fortnite if you make the proper loadout for her and use the right equipment. Today, I prove every other mainstream YouTuber wrong with this loadout. She is actually one of the most overpowered Outlanders in the game, and I carried somebody's Twine SSD 10 with this particular loadout and equipment. So, I'll explain. You have Red Willow as the commander for Holiday Surprise at the end of phase shift, trigger an explosion dealing 20 base energy in a 0.75 tile radius. That connects with Blast from the Past, which increases your health by a max of 200% after removing all shields. Then of course we have Saurian Instinct. Abilities heal for 7.2% of max health when used. That means anytime you use an ability, you get to recover 7.2% of your max health. Next in line we have Prehistoric Izza. While shield is depleted, increases armor by 33. That gives her a nice armor buff on top of the health regen through phase shift. Whenever you use any ability, Quick Fingers reloads your equipped weapon if it can be reloaded. Notice that it says if it can be reloaded. That means it needs to be magazine fed if that bonus is actually going to apply from the perk. Oh gee, there's magazine fed launchers. The Vendor Tech Disintegrator is apparently magazine fed. There's a lot of options here. Hell, even with machine guns, those are magazine fed, but this focuses on launchers and specifically for crowd control. And what ties it all together along with the abilities below is In and Outlander. Eliminating 6 enemies within 10 seconds of using phase shift grants 1 charge. But wait, there's another finer detail. You need to make sure you're regenerating enough energy to spam phase shift to maximize those health regen and reload bonuses when you need them, because you are going to be needing them quite a lot, which is exactly why this loadout is set up this way. Down here we have Fallen Love Ranger Jonesy. Fuel for the Fallen. Eliminations restore 6 energy over 3 seconds. Duration refreshes with additional eliminations. That means the more you kill, the more energy you regen, the more you're going to be able to phase shift with In and Outlander, the more you're going to heal, and of course you keep the reload bonus going. That combined with the armor buff and the health regen and the fact that her abilities are Seismic Smash, Shock Tower, and Phase Shift, this all pairs very well together, in particular for the control setup, because you can spam phase shift as you need it with the left bumper if you're on Xbox, and then you can easily use Seismic Smash and Shock Tower down as you need them. And then of course you have Adrenaline Rush and stationary hover turrets to provide further backup when you need them, if you need to buy some time in between all that horde control and saving someone's shield or defense. And now I'm going to cover the main weapons that tie this loadout together. Here we have the Vacuum Tube Launcher with a crit rating, a crit damage, a damage to miss monsters and bosses, and eliminating an enemy with this weapon causes chain lightning, strikes up to 6 times. That greatly helps In and Outlander and makes the entire build flow together. AoE launchers to keep the energy rolling in and to keep the phase shift charges rolling in. And best of all, since those bonuses are already rolling, you get to keep phase shifting around and reloading. And guess what? This launcher is magazine fed. What other launcher is magazine fed? The V6 launcher. 2 crit damages, a crit rating, make it physical, and have an affliction, damage to afflicted targets. The affliction and the debuff, damage to afflicted targets, helps to make sure that any husks that may still have a bit of a health bar left are going to die, so that the bonuses keep rolling. This launcher is in the secondary role for this loadout. This is your backup for when you need a little bit of breathing room, for when either you need to immediately make a brand new vacuum tube launcher because your other one broke, because the vacuum tube launcher with this perk set is your main weapon in this loadout. Those 2 launchers that I have just shown you are the Horde Control variants used for Storm Shields. This is the Horde Control variant of this actual particular loadout. Now, if you need to do both Horde Control and some Miss Monster Control as well, you obviously need to have this as your main launcher, the Vacuum Tube, which I just went over, crit rating, crit damage to Miss Monsters and bosses, eliminations cause chain lightning, and then you will also need a specially designed pot shot. And here's the pot shot that I was just talking about. Here's how this works. Crit rating, crit damage, a magazine size, I'll explain that in a moment, physical and damage to missed monsters and bosses, standing in place grants damage versus missed monsters and bosses. The reason for the magazine bonus on this is because the thing about magazine-fed weapons and the vacuum tube launcher and the pot shot is they obviously use a magazine, right? Look at the ammo cost down below. The ammo cost is 3, okay? The magazine is 10, but honestly, you really only get to fire 2 shots out of this before you're going to have to phase shift in this loadout in order to keep that ammunition rolling out of the barrel into the missed monster's face. Another detail I need to mention about the vacuum tube launcher. This particular launcher, it only has 90 in the magazine and its ammo cost is 10, but it shoots in 3-round bursts. See down there in the description below, fires a burst of 3 balls of lightning. Okay, so that means you have to be phase shifting every time this is fired 2 times because that expends 60 ammunition out of 90 in the magazine because this is a magazine fed launcher. Note that I said for the pot shot you fire that 2 times and then you need to phase shift to reload that one too. I needed to explain in detail for all this so people knew how to use the loadout. If you want to economize, like on lighter defenses, like defenses that don't require as much firepower, but you still need that crowd control, but you don't want to expend as much ammo with the vacuum tube launcher, then you need a Vindertech disintegrator. Note that I said for lighter applications. If you're going in heavy, you will need those launchers like I mentioned them, and I'm going to mention the melee I'm going to pair in this loadout next, but I need to cover the disintegrator. Critical rating, crit damage to afflicted targets, cause affliction, yet again. This ensures that if any of the health bar on the husks is remaining, is going to basically kill them and take care of that problem for you. The melee weapon that I decide to pair with this loadout, and it is one of my most favorite melee weapons in the game at this point, is an Armageddon Axe. You need a core perk to rework the 6 perk to critical hits with this weapon cause an explosion. 1 crit rating, 1 crit damage. It's by default energy, it's locked into that. Give it a heavy attack energy efficiency and do damage to missed monsters and bosses.